What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Odd Shopper channel, coming to you with another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks in the NBA streets. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell goes a long way for me on this video, goes a long way for you. That way you become apprised whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. We got 4 games here on Thursday. Wednesday was a wild one, and man, did props move in a fast, furious direction. Hopefully we're on the right side of it here. I'm recording this in the middle of the slate as it's going on. I have a couple bets I still need to post here for the evening window. 2 tails, and what is tails? Well, that's the market-based, well, not market-based. It is the marketplace where you can find everybody there. Try Lindy's Tails package for free. How can you do that? Here on the screen, this is 11 different sites, 11 sites, 5 of them in Pick'em, 5 of them in the sportsbook realm, and then one that's kind of a combo of both down there at Rebet, available in 47 of the 50 states. If you haven't signed up for any of these sites on the screen, you can get 1 free month of Lindy's premium tails package. That is all of my plays, all of my pick'em cards, all of the goodness there in one easy to find place. And yeah, there's going to be tons of great deals that you can get from those sponsors as well. Here's how you go about getting it. It's super quick, super easy. Get one of the promos, sign up using the offer, take screenshots of your welcome email and first settled bet, and support@oddshopper.com is where you send that email. Super easy, super simple. So without further ado, just do that. All right, let's get ourselves the heck up out of here. Producer Jacob, we got 4 games. We got to get flying. Let's get to the picks. So I'm just floored. I'm floored because there are 2 spreads that I was pretty positive are going to work in crazy directions. One, Milwaukee, which kind of held to that 3.5 number, hard, fast, and true. And I could have probably found better phrasing there, but this one is probably more egregious based off of what we just saw on Tuesday night. Now, recency bias, it's a thing. Making 29 threes and tying an NBA record, that's another thing. But this has more to do with the Washington side, which you have not seen yet, thank God. We got Boston minus 12.5, taking on the Washington Wizards, and Boston shot the absolute lights out of it against the Knicks, and they played it very, I would call it akin to what you would see in a playoff scenario. They went crazy in the pick and roll, trying to get Cat to commit, and Cat is not a good defender, and Cat got pretty badly exposed in that spot. OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges, we know what they can be shooting, or well, not shooting it, sorry, defending the ball. I wanted to talk about Mikal Bridges shooting, but we don't have the time. I just want to say that Boston, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, having a chip on your shoulder and wanting to run amok against these teams based off of the Olympics this summer, Steve Kerr slighting both Jaylen Brown to not even make the team, and then Jason Tatum, somebody that legitimately didn't play in meaningful games at all. I mean, this is an insane type of vengeance that they have coming off of here, keeping them inspired, even though they waxed the entire National Basketball Association on their way to a finals W. But they're going to take on Washington. And I said this has more to do with Washington because, again, I'm not saying recency bias. I am saying, look at this starting 5. Jordan Poole, Bilal Coulibaly, Kyle Kuzma, Alex Sarr, and Jonas Valanciunas. If you're trying to build a winning basketball team, you don't add Jonas Valanciunas to the mix. Now, offensively, he can do some nice things from time to time. He's a rebound machine, but kind of empty stats. And Andre Drummond, he's like the improved version of Jonas Valanciunas, where he can actually move his feet defensively and do certain things. Jonas Valanciunas is the 2nd percentile defender in my sheet, one of the worst in basketball, has no business being on the floor in playoff scenarios. But again, Washington, they're not going to the playoffs. In fact, one of my favorite things to be looking at, plus 240 before the season started, not sure what the number is now, but Washington to finish with the least amount of wins, it would not be the least amount of wins in the National Basketball Association. I'm pretty convinced this is the worst team, how it's constructed. And let's go down to the bench, because there's got to be something waiting on the bench, right? Now, Marvin Bagley, the cast off of Corey Kispert, did get paid for, I mean, whatever. He goes out to shoot threes, and that's basically it. Run in circles. Rashawn Holmes, Anthony Gill, Keyshawn George, Johnny Davis, Justin Champagny, brother of Julian, who we'll talk about next. He probably ends up starting for San Antonio. But what are we doing here? This is the worst team in basketball, hanging up just 12.5. And I get it. Boston shot the lights out of it. Don't even look at the 3-point percentage, because at the end of the day, they tried to make like 9, 10, 11 threes with that third unit, basically it was. I mean, I guess second unit if you're going to throw out Peyton Pritchard, who just make the shot, dude. It could have been even worse against the Knicks. It's going to get bad here for Washington awfully quickly. Now, is this a letdown spot? Somebody's going to argue for it, but I'm just going to argue for data. And if you go off of last year's data up against Washington now, which is not an improved version, I have this spread at 15.5. Now, I took a point off of that to like the 14.5, 15 range, and I'm still comfortable just calling it this. I could work on the timing. That was my fault. Sorry, producer Jacob. 12.5 Boston. That is a lock. Again, 2 spreads to start off the locks. Generally, the locks are props, almost always props. But hey, man, I'm just going to go where the value takes me. And here it is in this spread. I'm excited to see these two teams. San Antonio laying 7.5 up against Dallas. Dallas, the NBA Finals contributor from the Western Conference, said this at the beginning of last season. I have it on tape. Everything I say is on tape. It just is what it is. It comes with the territory, but he doesn't know the territory. That was a Music Man joke. Nobody got it. But Dallas, Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic, they were always going to find a way to coexist. They're too good. Kyrie's too smart. Luka's too talented. There was always going to be some coexisting there. And then they kind of pulled the strings, and PJ Washington playing tons of minutes, and he ended up being a very viable two-way player. That was one of the sharper ads, I would say, from GMs all year long and in the last couple of years was that addition. I got to say, I'm pretty comfortable saying that PJ Washington was not that version of himself in Charlotte, but you surround yourself with Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic, and you take scoring off of the table and can become better as time goes on as a pop shot type guy from the corner. I mean, look at his corner 3 numbers, how improved they were in the postseason. Really like what Dallas did in the construction of this basketball team. However, we got to be paying close attention to a couple of things here. One, how many minutes is he going to play right from the outset here? And Luka Doncic was dinged up here, coming off of a summer where he was in the Olympics as well. I'm not sure what to make of this current construction of it because, well, Klay Thompson gets added to the mix, and Klay Thompson did not shoot the ball well last year relative to what we understand Klay Thompson to be. He's got to get back to the height of his powers. But Derek Lively II, this kid is electric boogie woogie. In fact, he was a DPM monster in the playoffs. Really sneaky good there. Spencer Dinwiddie now going to be somebody that they can play some minutes as well. Maxi Kleber off the bench. We've seen him a lot. Najee Marshall from his times in New Orleans. I kind of like everything that they've done. Daniel Gafford, please don't play him a ton of minutes. He can be good in like a 16-minute ratio, but that's about it. He'll just eat up minutes. As for San Antonio, this is where it gets fun. Victor Wembanyama, he is the odds-on favorite by a mile to win Defensive Player of the Year. Why wouldn't he be? Chris Paul, a sharp ad here. It's just one of those guys that will constantly be a floor general, will constantly help a guy like Victor Wembanyama be in the right places offensively and really play through him there. But no Devin Vassell out here. That's a little bit iffy because we saw him kind of come into his own here. Keldon Johnson, still a castaway, still going to be a 6th man here. Not nearly the guy that was promised. In fact, I would say that he's one of the worst. Christian Laettner, if we're going to just talk NBA level talent, but Keldon Johnson has a gold medal attached to him. Just throwing it out there for the people who do not realize, Keldon Johnson was on the U.S. Olympic team playing for his guys. So I'm just saying that's wild to say out loud, but also wild to say out loud, Julian Champagny, Harrison Barnes, Jeremy Sohan, probably going to be your 3 starters, sandwiching Chris Paul, Victor Wembanyama. And the one thing I expect the Chris Paul is that they will try to get the ball moving. I know that this is Chris Paul's 842nd year in the NBA, but I expect the pace to get up there a little bit. And Devin Vassell not being there isn't exciting, but Dallas, they kind of flipped on its head. They were one of the slowest teams in basketball in the 2022-23 season. In 2023-2024, completely found ways to revamp that in terms of pace last year. Now my sheet wants to be difficult. It is what it is. Don't mind me, friends. Phenomena. 8th. There you go. Top 10 in basketball. I knew that was the case. But anyway, all of this talking comes down to some kerfluffly. Over 228.5 is my favorite play from it. The props, not all of them out here right now, which is weird because we don't really have any injury news waiting in the wings. I think that has more to do with maybe Luka Doncic minutes and trying to get an idea and a gauge of what those could be. But right now, I think this is overall very efficient. The most efficient game that we have here on the slate. This is efficiently awesome. Bet 365, damn good find. Why don't I sock it to you one more time? Get 5. Yeah, I was going to wrap, but we're not going to do that. Bet 5, get $200 in bonus bets at one of these states. This is where Bet 365 is available. Colorado, Louisiana, Virginia, Kentucky, New Jersey, Arizona. Why do I always list these off? But I have to get to North Carolina. Come on and raise up. Take your shirt off, twist it around your head, spin it like a helicopter. This one's for me. This one's for you. Us. No, that's different. No. Just bet 5, get $200 over at Bet365, only if you're 21 and over. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Back to the picks we go, halfway point. Really do check out all the offers. Again, Tails is great. Very, very nice. We also very much like what we have going down in the video description box. Very nice, how much? But it's free if you sign up for some of those things. So that's how much. Minnesota, why, God, why did they have to do that to me with Julius Randle? I knew it was going to be bad. I didn't know it was going to be that bad. They're hanging 1 going into Sacramento. Oh, man. I don't really have words to talk about how poor of an effort that was on the interior. Anthony Davis came to play basketball, came to say, you know what? I should have been Defensive Player of the Year on Mr. Rudy Gobert. The Stifle Tower said, I mean, that kind of salvaged my opening day as is. 25 points plus the 1-3. He could have made a second one. That would have made me very, very happy. But you know what? We're going to settle for the W on that one. Overall, made up that and then some for that debauchery that was the like on the Knicks plus 5.5. We won't be doing that one in the near future if the Celtics are just going to pick and pop Karl Anthony Towns for 30 minutes. But that is a lesson for another day. We are going to be looking at Minnesota. And what are the lessons that we have here? Well, Nickeil Alexander-Walker off the bench, Donte DiVincenzo off the bench. They're going to play a lot more than Mike Conley. In fact, Mike Conley, props not on the board. He barely even played opening night. It was something that was kind of rumored that they wanted to limit his minutes later on in his NBA career, but boy, did they. Didn't close, didn't end up out there in crunch time. It was insane to see him just disappear off the map there. Somebody we want to be paying attention because eventually they're going to ramp up those minutes. But as for now, I do have interest in like once these deep state type props show up, we've got Nickeil Alexander-Walker specifically. I think we're going to have some interest here going our direction. But I have to tell you, there is nothing like Donte DiVincenzo getting some minutes and not really performing on opening night. Here's why. Because I wasn't crazy invested in it. I had a little bit of money here that I was tailing some of the people in tails that really liked it. And I was probably the wrong one, even though he didn't go over 16.5 PRA. He's now sitting at 17.5. This is a numbers game. This is a math game. And if you give me the same workload for Donte DiVincenzo and the same opportunity, there are lots of situations where over the last 10 minutes, he doesn't put up a flat 0 in the PRA category. I think that puts it in the lean-like category. Now, the reason that I'm going to put it lean-like here is because there are tons of other props that I think I want more on the Minnesota-Sacramento side of things. And of course, just to talk about Sacramento, I hate the construction of this basketball team to a certain extent. DeMar DeRozan, a mid-range guy, absolutely. Put my thing down, zip it, and reverse it. It's your firm indifference win yet. I should just finish talking about this. De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis. This was not the construction of a basketball team I was looking forward to. I wanted to have somebody alongside De'Aaron Fox, and they had it in Tyrese Halliburton. They let him go for Domantas Sabonis because they just didn't want him to coexist there. Maybe it was an agent pulling the strings. Maybe it was something else. Didn't like it to begin with. It is what it is. But Malik Monk, I am pretty confident, is going to be your 6th man of the year here in this spot. And I promise, friends, I'll speed it up here in future days, but I want to just kind of no stone left unturned. Jordan McLaughlin, is this a revenge spot? Does he have revenge in his heart going out there? I very highly doubt it. Doug McDermott's out there to shoot it in like 10 minutes a game. And Trey Lyles will be your main backup big. But the starters here are going to play a lot. De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk, potentially somebody that might start, but I think Keon Ellis ends up being your starter, if we're being honest. DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, and Domantas Sabonis. So pay very close attention. Lots of props there. And then all of those bench guys, specifically DiVincenzo, but I think there might be multiple that we want to fire in this game. And the main event of the evening, Oklahoma City and Denver. And I have something that I very much like here in this one. Oklahoma City did genius things, but got a little bit screwed over. Why is that? Well, Isaiah Hartenstein was a guy acquired to deal with Nikola Jokic, to deal with Rudy Gobert to some extent. I suppose that's probably not the right comp. I'm just talking about the two best teams in the West that are coexisting in there. You got to find a way to at least bottle up Jokic as best as you can. This guy's won 3 of the last 4 MVPs for a reason. He's the best player in basketball, one of the best that we've ever seen, period, do anything. I mean, the guy is absolutely insane from an analytics perspective. He's a darling for people like me. There's nothing you can do to not make Jokic an absolute savior come playoff time. But here's the but. Got done with an Olympic summer himself. We know how much he likes his horses and wants to go sit out on the prairie and just not deal with people. He didn't really get a traditional offseason, and I doubt that the minutes are going to get ramped up to the 36, 38 range right from the get-go. I'm, in fact, just basically looking to short everybody across the way. Now, Oklahoma City, I think, based off of what we saw with Minnesota and Julius Randle's fit, it's one game, you don't want to overreact, but they were kind of sitting here and here and here. Oklahoma City's got a leg up here with SGA, of course, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, another year under his belt. Technically his 3rd season, although it's his 2nd of playing. He had the Travis Etienne injury on his footsie that kept him out his 1st rookie season, even though he was eligible for Rookie of the Year last year in his 2nd year. But Denver, this is a team that I don't love the construction of here outside of course, the best player in basketball. He's been able to fill up every single wart and issue that they've had. Aaron Gordon got paid. Michael Porter Jr., we know his defensive woes, but this is going to have to be a year where Russell Westbrook off the bench actually has to do stuff. Like, this can't just be in Clipper territory where, sometimes it's there. No, he's got to be like semi-consistent because Dario Saric, Julian Strother, Deron Holmes, Vlatko Kansar, Zeke Naji. I mean, this is not a quality bench, and Christian Brown probably goes into the starting unit as the starting shooting guard. Nothing about this team is all that fun outside of Jokic, and I'm saying this primarily because I have major concerns about Jamal Murray. One, he had perhaps the worst performance out of any Olympian ever for the quality of player that he is for his country. Canada couldn't even put him on the floor. He was so broken shooting and not really doing anything. Was it because he wanted a summer and because there are tons of miles off of the tires from a world championship team 2 years ago and last year making a decent enough run, but playing into the playoffs yet again, despite injuries? I'm not sure. All I know is 29.5 is a big PRA number, partially because there are ways that they just play exclusively through Jokic at the top of the key. Try to keep Jamal Murray somewhat fresh here. He's going to be a big part of this team. He has to be a big part of this team. He's paid like the 2nd biggest part of this team. Oh boy, Jamal Murray under 29.5 PRA. Prove it to me, bud. Let's see if you still got it. And that does it for Thursday's edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. You know what to do. Go to that comment section below. Let me know your favorite plays that exist on the board for this lovely 4-gamer we have before us. Obviously, now we will have seen every team in the NBA. I'll be able to go through rotations, early notes. I'll be able to kind of go through everything for it because NBA, this is my baby. I love going through the props, going to be getting more and more and more exposure to them. Want to still play it a little bit light early in the season. However, we do have 2 lock plays both on spreads. I didn't see that coming, but the numbers are what they say they are. Hopefully Giannis can continue doing what he just did here in this 2nd quarter. That would be lovely. God, he looks good. He's pretty good at basketball. Yeah. Working hard over here. Check out Tails. Check out the Tails package. Thank you, producer Jacob. Until next time, friends, until Friday's massive slate, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the NBA streets on Thursday.